right, so we are here. This is the very first podcast for the Lions Den, and we're very excited. I'm excited. I know my guest is excited. Well, he's not really a guest. He's part of the. He's one of the visionaries of this bad boy. Somebody that I highly respect. Um, I got a lot of admiration for. He hard on me. I'm hard on him. But we sharpen the iron of each other. But this very first podcast, I wouldn't have it no other way but having the very own visionary, dreamer, entrepreneur, creator, artist, producer, musician, the very own Young Swag. What's going on, man?
Man, what's going on with you, man?
Hey,
That was a nice introduction, yo.
Yeah,
I appreciate it, man.
Oh yeah, you know it, brother. You know it, man. Listen, I know it's a lot going on with you, man. And one thing I'm excited about is the whole world get to hear, and see through hearing anyway, what you are and who you are, So we want to dig into that, And I mean, your past is so vast, man, And that's one of the things I really wanted to talk about, is like your past, like what who you are, and your humble beginnings and all of that stuff. But one of the things I wanted to talk about, like introing into sharing your story, is the thought was on my mind in starting this first podcast is it's interesting, man. The world that we live in is we live surrounded around so much negativity, man. And it's like, as dreamers, it's so challenging all the time because the majority of people have buried their dreams, man. Like they don't dream anymore. And I think that if you look at a child, right? If you look at a little baby, child or toddler, whatever, they start to learn what they have inside of them in reference to this dream, this imaginary world, that they can create and be anything.
Right.
From little kids, playing house, or boys being cops and robbers or whatever, And it's like they learn to dream, and their dreams flourish, and they are who they are in these dreams. And it's like as life progresses and we learn more, and we let go of more of our child, our inner child, who we are, we let go of our dreams a lot of times through disappointments, through setbacks, through heartbreaks, heartaches. We let go of our dreams, man.
We accept a lot of what is quote unquote reality, and we feel like our dreams, our imagination is no longer fit for that reality. But we have to really understand that we can change reality. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
we can change.
Good,
we can change what is so called fit for us. I mean, there's always a 1st.
Right.
There's always a first.
Right.
I'm pretty sure with the first black president, regardless if you grew up, you know what I'm saying, not in that mode that you would have thought that would never be possible, but it was possible.
Right.
So if we keep our dreams and our aspirations, then we can definitely become something, you know what I'm saying, something that we always thought that we could become, but we got to believe it,
Yeah, definitely, man. And I think that's key, is like what you said. I mean, it was so, I mean, I couldn't have said it better. No, I don't think it could have been said better. We look at reality or facts, like paying bills,
right.
whether you got a girlfriend now, or a wife now, a fiance now, whatever. It's like all of these things we push back our dreams. You know what I mean? And it's like, what are we doing? And then the reality of it is like, why do we really exist? Like, what are we doing? So we shift off our dreams, and then now what we do is we adapt or adopt the reality of, all of the drudgery of the things that we hate. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
life is bigger than that, man. You know what I mean? And it's like you literally have to fight for your dreams. Like what you believe is in your heart, man. Like the things that you want to do, the things that you've been desiring to do, passionate to do. You know what I'm saying? So I think that that's so important. And I like when I look at you, when I see you, I see a dreamer. You know what I'm saying? I see
Yeah.
somebody that but I see also somebody that has the ability to transform their dreams into reality. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Appreciate
And there's
that.
so many other great. Oh yeah, and there's so many other great attributes about you that I think is to be unpacked and that are unpacking and that have unpacked and that are evolving. Like I see, leadership. I see a king. I see all of these great things. You know, so just talk to us, man, and just let us know where you at now, because I don't want to. I don't want to limit you to Dip Ink Entertainment or what you doing in the artist world or whatever. Or what any thing that you thinking about, executive producing or what you working on, Dip Ink TV. I mean, what? Tell us, man. Talk to us, man. Tell us your story.
Well, ever since growing up, I always had I always knew what I wanted to do. Even from a young boy, I always knew what I wanted to do, and I knew what my passions were. And that's one thing that, I thank God for, even having that ability to know what my passion is. A lot of times, you never know when you're gonna get, okay, this is my passion. This is where the lane I want to be in. So I always had a love for artistry, whether it's painting, poetry,
Okay.
movies, music, architecture, anything that comes with creating from your mind, creating something that's not there, and making it a reality. It's always been my passion. So I always wanted to do things in that lane. With the Dip Ink is definitely not just music, but fashion, and I want to go into other avenues as well. But I definitely have a heart for artistry and just seeing people create something out of nothing. That's very, very inspiring to me. But it's also a huge connection for me. It helps fuel me. Seeing other people doing certain things helps to fuel me to get to where I want to get to, and helps inspire me to continue to push.
Oh,
so that's always been my thing. Even coming from the areas that I come from, and seeing that there weren't those options, but being able to see the world, even if it's through the TV or little trips here and there, or just vast differences. Seeing that there's so many different type of realities out there, you just got to choose which one you want. So that's kind of just where my heart is in regards to my beliefs, and pushing through those beliefs and making them a reality.
So it's like you being a creator. Like when I hear you talk, I hear creator. I hear revolutionary. I hear no is not an option.
Right.
I hear an evolving person with with evolving concepts. Like when I listen to you, I hear evolving concepts. I hear there's so much to be evolved and so much to that is to be created that's a part of you. I think that, and that's why, man, I think conversation is so important among us and our community, man. Like, I think that we live in a social age where it's like we limit our conversation on social media, and shout out to Snapchat and Instagram and all of that. That's cool, but like it's like we have to purposefully kind of streamline those elements so that we can communicate to learn more of who each other is. Because if people look at you like they can see some artistry with you because you're a very blossomed person. What I mean by that is that you're very colorful, like personality wise. You're very although you're not a extreme talker like me, you're very colorful. Like you're very colorful in your dress. You're very colorful in your conversation. You're just colorful. You're very vast. You know. So, but if people never stop and be like, yo, what's swag about? What's Dip Ink about? And they never really purposefully, when they stop and ask, hear and see what you're about, they'll miss it.
Yeah.
And that's their opportunity to be. That's their opportunity that they are missing to be inspired. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And all of us, man, it's so important that we all be inspired. We keep that going, man. That inspiration, man.
Absolutely.
It's something that, it's something that has to be considered. It has to be something that I think has to be in our repertoire of us having that added fuel that enables us to finish.
Yeah.
Not just be creators or to be developers or to be artists, but to finish the vision, the whole picture. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
That's a thing that is that's a good point. You have to inspiration is one thing that can help you finish, but also having keen spirits around you. That's another avenue that'll help you finish, help you get to where it is that you, because if they can understand or they go through the same they're going through the same course, then it allows you to know that, okay, you're not what your imagination is or your creativity is. It's not just you. There's other people around you who understand what you're trying to do, and I can help push you to continue to go. Because sometimes, like I said, when you're dealing with reality, it's a tug of war.
Yeah,
you're thinking, you're overthinking things. You're looking at certain obstacles, and since you may be very well the first one to ever try to achieve that, it can definitely tug at you. But when you have people around you who have your back, or they're going through the same thing, or they have that experience and they can tell you how to get through it, it helps you to fuel you to continue the course.
Yeah. And man, I think that's so paramount, man. Like, having, you talked about having kings around you, man. What's some of the things that you've seen that you could detect a person that has the DNA of a king, man? What are some of those characteristics, man?
I think it's not taking no for an answer.
Yeah.
Not taking no for an answer. And truly being someone who can, whatever is going on, what's their adversity that like how do they push through? How do they look at that trial and continue to push through it? And not I'm gonna fit in a mode. I need to fit in this mode. I need to follow this trend or follow this or that. But I'm standing on my own too. I kind of feel like that's having a king mindset.
Yeah, having man, oh wow. See, when I think about kings and king mindset, I think about realms. I think that every individual has been called to their own realm to cultivate their own realm, and that their realm, and I don't mean to get too deep, but their realm is to have a distinct smell, color, and aura, man.
Yeah, that's deep.
I think when we like, and something that you said previously a few minutes ago really struck me because it's something I was having a God moment, man, and I felt like God was really talking to me, man, and He was saying, "I've called you, like, this is the time for you to elevate."
Yeah.
You know, to elevate. It's almost like you so comfortable at 10,000 feet, but you ain't really at your height and level to soar.
Yeah.
Because if we get comfortable at 10,000 feet, we can't soar comfortably at 30,000. We gonna get uncomfortable, man. You know.
That's good stuff, yeah.
So it's like what are we really doing? And I think, let me just say this, and you know, you know my story through and through. I think that we've been brainwashed on both sides of the spectrum, on the secular realm and on this Western Christianity realm. You know,
Mm-hmm.
of being a caricature of something that we're really not.
Yeah.
But it helps us to it enables us, but it crutches us to fit in to
Right.
what we fit, and it lessens our level of responsibility that I feel like God gave us to stand up and be the round bearer that you've been called to be, man. And that
That's good
doesn't
stuff.
mean rebelling against authority or can't nobody tell you nothing. No, but I believe that, man, you and you've been exemplary of that. I've watched you over the years. You know, and your own testimony, your own story is that you have been like you have been a creator of your spirit and your realm. You've never tried to mimic anybody or mock anybody. It's
Right.
really been a conviction of yours to show the world that this is the realm that I have domain over.
Right.
And see, realm means, for people that don't like the deep stuff, realm means my sphere of influence, my sphere of authority, where I
Right.
rule at. You know what I'm saying? My kingdom. You know?
Exactly.
Everybody's been called to that. Everybody has been given to that. And see, the thing the thing that I you know that I wanted to get into and talk about is, have you ever had the challenge of, like, because we both, you know, dealing with relationships, whether what level of relationships, whether, you know, girlfriend, wives, whatever, of how do you foster or how do you cultivate and foster the dreams of others in a relationship? Like, is it a burden? Is it a challenge? Because a lot of times, us as dreamers, us as visionaries, we struggle, or the people that are in relationships with us, they see us from one spectrum, but we see through many spectrums.
Right.
And it's like, it's hard for a lot of people. Like, let's just be frank. It's hard for a lot of people to relate to us.
Right. Right.
You know? So it's like, how do you, whether it be relationship, woman, man, you know, friendship, whatever, how do you, I guess I'm asking, what is your take on, or your thought on, like, cultivating that, like helping to explain that, or show that, so that the people who love us understand and embrace that? Because I have a thought, but I want to hear your take on that, man. Because I'm, you know.
Yeah, I think that, you know, in any relationship, like you said, friendship, you know, marriage, wife, family, business, I think it is all part of knowing my mission statement. And what I mean by that, knowing what's in my spirit, knowing what I stand for, knowing what I'm trying to do, knowing my path, and accepting that, and being a part of that, and helping me as I help you, helping us to be able to get there. And, you know,
does that mean even if you don't understand, trust in what's in my heart? Is that what you're saying?
Right, because you have to know, regardless if you can't see the vision, you have to know that me as a person the creative person that I am, or the willed person that I am, that this ain't going away. How I feel, what I feel, and what I'm trying to do is not going to go away. So it's either I'm accepting of it and I'm going to help you through it, or I'm going to support you through it, or I'm going to allow myself to put whatever work in that you need for it, even if I don't understand it.
Right.
Even if I don't understand it.
See, to me, that's true love. True love means I love you enough to watch you evolve and not have a rebuttal against your evolution.
Yeah, that's good.
You know what I'm saying? Like I love you enough to where I trust who you are to evolve, man. To evolve into a more beautiful you. There may be another blossom on that, in that flower bed or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But I trust that process. And see, I think if we don't trust in relationships with visionaries and dreamers, if I don't trust my own process, I'm not going to trust your I'm definitely not going to trust the process of a dreamer or visionary.
That's good. Yeah.
I'm going to struggle really bad doing that. You know what I'm saying? But let me drop this on you. This thought. I had another God moment, right?
Mm-hmm.
And these thoughts started coming to me, and I started asking these questions. You know, me and God had these conversations, and the thought came to me: who is? And see, this is God broadening my mind and broadening my heart. These questions God began to deal with me about these questions. Who is more like God on the earth? The Creator who creates out of purity of heart, or a Christian who has a view of who God is? Who's more the Creator? You understand what I'm saying? Like because if we get into and I don't want to go too deep into this, but the Bible talks about us being created in the likeness and image of God, man. That's right. If I'm created in His likeness and image, then the first thing that I think of is I was born to create.
That's real.
And see, the thing is that reason why I said brainwashed earlier, we've been brainwashed to think that when I start creating and I create something that the earth has never seen, that some way, somehow, I need man's approval on them seeing something and receiving something that they've never seen or heard of before. But I got my approval from the Creator. He made me that way.
Right, exactly.
He made me to evolve. I mean, think about when Adam saw a rose for the first time. Think about when he saw a ball for the first time. When he saw a dinosaur for the first time. When he saw water for the first time. Come on. Like, what are we actually, like, where do we get this? I have to have somebody's approval who don't even understand that they've already been approved by the Creator.
Right.
To create. See,
we definitely look for, like you said, we look for man's approval a lot in anything.
We really do, man.
You know, even in social media or whatever, man. It's about how many likes we get, how many, how many followers do we have, like, how many retweets do we get, that type of stuff. Right. Like, we're always looking. That's instead of, like you said, which is key. Instead of looking at what it is that we were called to do, and we already been approved to do, and we just got to go through the process. You know, we should be okay and accepting of that. But that's again, that's where continuing the path and continuing to go through. You know, because sometimes you can have those dreams, and you allow other interferences or other people to not, to disapprove of it, which will hinder what those dreams are.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. And you got to fight through that. You got to fight.
That's
through
interesting.
That.
Yeah, that's interesting that you say that, because it's like sometimes even the people that are closest to you, you have to trust the process above and beyond their thought of what you're doing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, because it's and I think that those are the ingredients for the process to be fulfilled into what we call success.
Right.
Because if success, if we call success with no opposition or adversity, what are we really like? Is that really considered success? You know?
Yeah, that's
You know
real.
what I'm saying? Like from the people that we admire and look up to. You know, I think about uh, LeBron James. You know, I think about all of his accomplishments and everything that he's done. His number one hero was Jordan.
Right.
But it's interesting how, like, when you ask Jordan, he'll say, "Nah, Kobe is the." How tragic, how devastating that can be to a guy who's creating his own legacy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
From the perspective of I need the last king's approval to be the king. Imagine if you think like that. You lose.
Absolutely. Every time.
You didn't make it to the end. That's why, and I think that he's such a great example. I think LeBron is a great example of trusting the process. Even when you had no sketched blueprint. He had no sketched blueprint. I think he had it in his heart, but like the odds were stacked against him. Single parent home.
Absolutely.
His mom got pregnant when she was a teenager. You know what I'm saying? Thank God for coaches and mentors who saw the dream in him. Not only the dream, but the ability that was in him. Where are those men today? Where are those people today? And I'm not trying to be critical of us as men, but I'm just asking, where are they today? You know, do we have them on the spectrum of not just basketball, but, you know, somebody wanting to be a public speaker or artist or you know, have a visionary for a new clothing line? Like, where are those mentors to say, hey, you know what, man, I see the dream and I see the dream and I see the ability of this person. Let me invest in this person. Not looking for anything in return.
Yeah.
Like, where are those pillars at from previous generations, man? You know?
That's good, man.
Because it's like not people from, I'm sorry, but the majority of people from previous generations, all I get is, what you gonna give me in return? And I'm like, the way that we evolve and progress in the overall process of evolving, not only as people, but also, you know, in our beliefs and, you know, being better husbands, being better wives, being better, you know, friends, parents, whatever, is information and gems passed down without any look for, you know, look out for me or what, like where is that? You know, and it takes me back to the thought of, it takes a whole village to raise a child, you know?
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
If a child is going to come to full maturation, it takes a whole village. That means the doctor play a part, the lawyer play a part. You know what I'm saying? Even in some respects, the prostitute or the gangbanger, don't do this, don't do that. You know what I'm saying? The OG on the street corner,
don't go down this road.
Yeah, the village, man. And it's like, we only want the concept of like what we deem as success. And I guess what I'm getting to is that we have to ask ourselves, like, what is really success? Like, what is making it? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
that's good, yo. What is making it? And that's the thing that goes back to us looking at other people's success. We can't look at someone else's success.
Whoa.
And say that's how success should be for us.
Right.
You know, we have to look at what it is that he called for us to do.
Yeah.
And did we achieve that goal? That's success.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I think trying to look at compare yourself to other people and saying, well, mine don't match theirs.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you've missed it. You know what I'm saying? You totally missed it. It's about doing everything that you were supposed to do and accomplishing that goal. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. That's good.
But that's good stuff, yo.
Yeah, and I think that's an important topic, man. That's something that we have to kind of, you know, as a whole, ask ourselves and consider ourselves, like, or consider in our thought process of, how we, evaluate our lives, man. Like, what is success? See, I'm not so concerned about somebody on the outside that may consider themselves my friend, that view how I look, if I'm successful to them or not. I don't really care about that.
Right.
And it has to come from a place of conviction. Like, it has to be like, this is like, and I think that it goes back to like setting goals, having a plan for your life, not just, yo, I'm looking at Rick Ross, man, he rich now, he getting paid, look at his house, I want that. No, like, what's in you, and even, man, I've been doing this series that I've been talking about, at Outpour, and that's, we need to even, and I've been talking about, how to find our purpose in life, how to find, our destiny in life, how to know God's plan for our life, how to find out, what we're supposed to be or what we're supposed to be doing. And I talked about asking the right questions. And one of the things that I said we even have to go back to writing down, asking our mom and our dad, where was I born? What time was I born in? How does, what neighborhoods did I grow up in? You know what I mean? Because I think bringing God into the conversation, well, as a matter of fact, he's always in my conversation. I may not bring him up or talk him up, but he's always, because I feel like he's giving me the voice and the platform to do what I do. But in bringing God into the conversation, we ask these questions like, because God don't make no mistakes, man. He don't make.
Yo, that's good.
There was a reason why I was born in Buffalo. There was a reason why I was born in the Willow Park Projects. There was a reason why I had a friend, one of my best friends, that was an OG, that was a murderer. There was a reason why there was a reason why my parents were the way that they were. And these are the things we overlook, and we still asking the questions like, what am I supposed to be doing in life? Well, I think that every single event in our life is a sign that points us to our destiny, man.
Yo, that's good, yo.
But we don't know. We don't know. Like, we've never been taught these things because we're looking for, and religious Christianity has taught us, if it ain't the these or the thous, or if it ain't your famous prophet, then it ain't God. Well, who said that?
Right.
That in the Bible. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
And we have to learn how to translate God secularly, because God is not religious. You know what I'm saying? Like, like God is not into the these and thous. That's us. That's man. God is not into only read the King James Version. I only want you can only get inspired by going to church on Sunday. No, inspiration is everywhere because God is everywhere.
Right.
God is literally everywhere. You know what I'm saying? So it's like and these questions.
And everybody.
Yes. And see, oh man. Oh wow. You hit the nail on the head. Can use any and everybody. That's a major key, because I think part of the religious circle, or let me say this, Western Christianity, and people might hear this and say, oh, you got a bone to pick with Christianity. I ain't got a bone to. Christianity in and of itself is to be Christ-like. I do have a problem with Western Christianity. I have a big problem with it. I think it's distorted and diluted and actually destroy the very fabric of the foundation by which we believe. Like we've patterned people to believe a certain way or think that God only operates a certain way. Well, that's not having a biblical worldview, man. Like,
that's real.
The way that they might not hear God the way I hear God in Africa. And everybody not going to worship. Shout out to Hillsong, but everybody ain't worshiping the Hillsong when we get to heaven. It may be one of the songs, but I mean, we got to stop putting what's in our box as the ultimate. It ain't the ultimate. God is the ultimate. So it's like we have to stop putting these things as the ultimate, and then it's like making these things, and then begin to push everything that we think is the ultimate back, and begin to wonder. Like, that's another thing. Like, have we I think that we've forgotten how to want to wonder. like, is God really like this? Or is God really like what the preacher said he is? Or is that what this really means? Like, begin to broaden our minds so that, and I think that one of the things, the reason why we don't see creative genius in the world as much as we should, is because people see a model working for somebody else, and they grab on to that model, and they don't even tap into the creative genius that's in them. They adopt the concept that they've been brainwashed to adopt, and it just shuts down creativity, and then the creative people get frowned on, and it just starts a chain reaction, and just a whole bunch of negativity frowning upon the creative, the creative and the visionaries and the innovators and the trailblazers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But,
I think when we have to get away from seeing what template works for somebody else, and trying to mimic that template and get away from that, because that's only gonna give you temporary success. You have to go to what works for you.
You
know, you have to follow your path. I mean, it all comes back to your path. You got to follow your path and go. Now you can definitely be inspired by something that worked for someone else, or seeing someone's adversity or whatever. That can be inspiration, but trying to copy or mimic or something that worked for someone else, that's not your path. Your path may be very, very different.
Right.
Maybe very, very different, and you doing what works for them may not be successful for you.
Yeah,
you may not find any success in that.
Yeah, that's real. And I think the other side of it is that I think people have mimicked other people and have gotten success. And what has happened is that people think, or has gotten results from it, and people looking from the outside looking in, look and say, "Oh, it worked for them too." But just because something worked and you've gotten results, doesn't mean that you're really successful.
Right.
Or does success come from following the blueprint of being true to your own heart?
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like that's a thought. Now switching lanes a little bit, because I was getting ready to ask you about what does creativity mean to you, but you kind of already like dealt with that a little bit. But let's switch lanes a little bit. Like, let's talk about the 9 to 5, man. This 9 to 5 concept of, like, I work a job, this is what I have to do. Like, how you think creative people deal with that and evolve out of becoming their own bosses, becoming their own CEOs? Like, because I think that it's part of the process as well.
Right.
Some I think is shorter length than others. Some I think it's a longer length because they're afraid to jump. Like Steve Harvey says, shout out to Steve Harvey. But, some are afraid to jump. Some are afraid they're comfortable. Man, one of the things about becoming your own boss is that if you're going to do it, I think the process is getting over your own fears of jumping.
Yeah.
Of reaching out, of stepping on, of walking on the water, man.
Absolutely. Because it's a sacrifice.
Yeah.
It's a sacrifice. I know one person. Well, there's a lot of success stories where people take nothing and make it into something, meaning they did not have a 9 to 5. They didn't have other means. It was what they believed in and pursuing that. A lot of times we try to create different avenues.
Right.
A, B, plan A, plan B, plan C. If this don't work, I'm going to do this. If that don't work, I'm going to do this. And I have nothing against people who do that. Everyone's not meant to be have their own business. Some people, that's just not, they may be they may be meant to have their own, or to support, or they find a vision that they love, that is evolving or has already evolved, and being a part of that to create another lane or another avenue out of that. Everyone's not supposed to be, just like everyone's not supposed to be a basketball player. Everyone's not supposed to be a football player. Everybody has their own lane. And when you know in your heart that your lane is to cultivate or create something, then you have to engulf yourself all the way in that. Mark Cuban said something that was fascinating to me. He said, you know, when he knew that he wanted to create his software, he roommated with 10 different people. He said he had a little slot in a bedroom apartment, and all he did every day was work that software till he can get it to where he wanted it to be. He said you can't waste time on other things if you have your goals, and I think that's important. I think with a lot of things with people, you know, from your Steve Jobs, etc., they go all the way in on the things that they are inspiring to do. You know, when you have to invest your time in that, you have to invest your time in those goals, because that's the only way you're gonna 100% get it nourished. And get it to cultivate and get it to blossom and get what you're trying to achieve. You know, regardless of the naysayers, regardless of what people may say, well, you should do this and do that. You have to look yourself in the mirror at the end of the day. And you have to look at what is it that I really want to do? What will, if I don't do this, or if I do this, am I going to be okay with that at the end of the day? You know, and I think people have to look at themselves sometimes, and really, really pay attention to your own self-awareness, and not necessarily what people advise you to do, but what it is that you want to do. Right.